Hello, I'm Paul with Logix Magazine. Did you know that there are over a dozen career paths a PLC programmer could pursue? We're going to talk about that today, and we're getting started right now. All right, so I'm excited about this subject. I really am, because I know when I began my PLC programming career, I figured that the only avenue of getting a job was to pursue a career opportunity. When back in the day when we did job hunting online a lot, you would type in PLC programmer, and PLC programmer was the only job opportunity I figured that I could pursue. And it didn't take too long before I realized, boy, it's a much broader perspective, a much broader career opportunity than most people are aware of. And that's what I want to get through with you today. I want to share with you, just a handful of different career paths that you could pursue, even being a beginner PLC programmer. It's exciting to share this with you. All right, so obviously we got PLC programmer. So when you go to Indeed, you put in PLC programmer, you're going to see it could be thousands or tens of thousands of job opportunities. I don't know what it is today. Every day it changes. But I think the last time I looked, there was like 65,000 job opportunities around the country, if not around the world. So it's exciting that there's so much demand, and that's great for you. However, maybe those jobs just don't seem to be a perfect fit, right? You can't seem to find that one opportunity that seems to be a good fit for you. Put in the phrase controls engineer, controls engineering technician, and you may find an additional tens of thousands of new job opportunities that are really virtually the same job. They just have different job titles. So PLC programmer may work on for the tier 1 automotive industry, and you'll be on the line making some edits and changes as the line runs, right? A controls engineer may do more on the enterprise level, or more in the design and building of new equipment level. All right, those are perfectly good paths for beginner PLC programmers, servicing the line and or working on with the enterprise level, in maintaining equipment, capital projects, etc. All right, so exciting opportunities there for you, lots of them. But you might not have thought to pursue looking for electrical engineering opportunities. That's right, my friend, electrical engineering. If you look online, you go to Indeed, for example, and you look for electrical engineering, a good handful of them are going to ask that you know PLC programming. So that might very well be a good opportunity for you to get your foot in the door as an electrical engineer. Most electrical engineers I know do know automation programming, and their role may only be automation programming, but their job title might be electrical engineer. So something to think about. Anyhow, when you look online, take a look at the electrical engineering job postings. You may find those as an example. All right, so not that I'm saying the only way you job hunt is online. That's not what I'm saying. What I want you to do is see the opportunities that are out there for different job titles, right? Different career paths that you could pursue. One you might not have thought of is mechanical engineering. That's right, unbelievably, a mechanical engineer, a lot of companies that I know, so it's about 50-50. 50% of the mechanical engineers I know don't do any programming or electrical or whatnot. And about 50% of them do controls, wiring, PLC programming, robotics. They do a whole mix and variety of things, because there's a sole technical resource for a company or a division, right, of a company. So very common. So look for mechanical engineering opportunities where you can bring your PLC programming knowledge into. All right, so there's a lot of opportunity there. You'd be surprised how many companies are looking for mechanical engineers that they want to have automation backgrounds. Very simple. All right, so service tech. I know what you're saying. I don't want to do service tech. I want to be a PLC programmer. What you might not consider up front is that on a service tech team that travels around, for example, to install or service, maintain equipment, having somebody on their team that is very fluent in the automation, robotics, or automation and programming skill set is really valuable to that team. All right, so it's like a special forces A team. This person does this person does this person does this, and you may have some millwrights, you may have a manager, team leader, may have sales, you're going to have automation, electrical guy, so you may be part of that resource for this service team. Just something to consider, something that when you're looking online, look for those type of service tech positions that you can use your PLC programming skill set in, right? And there are a lot of them. Keep this in mind. Every single company that builds a machine needs a service technician, and all of those, virtually all of them, have some sort of automation, and they would love to have somebody who knows control wiring and automation to support them. So look for those opportunities. They're there, tens of thousands of them. All right, so kind of going off the list here. Project manager, absolutely, project manager. And you'd be amazed at how many project management opportunities that you will get, and even early on in your career, because you are the go-to resource for automation and programming for a company or a team or a project, and then that could be building new equipment for capital expense opportunities. It could be servicing equipment like we just talked about. It could be maintaining equipment. Say you work for an enterprise and they have different plants around, and you may be their project manager for new equipment. You may, let's assume in your first year, you may not lead it, but you may be their resource. You'll lead the project and you'll manage that part of the project for the electrical and automation. I guarantee you those opportunities are out there, lots of them, tens of thousands of them, and it's very likely that you could be leading projects within your very first year. It's just an enormous amount of opportunity out there in that field. So look for those opportunities. If you have the automation controls background, you have some leadership background, I guarantee you those opportunities are out there by the tens of thousands of them. All right, so let's continue down our list. So design engineer. Oh, I know I said something wrong, didn't I? Design engineer, right? Well, I'm not a designer, Paul. Well, that doesn't mean that you will not work with a design engineering team. So let me walk you through this. A lot of companies today want a design team where, like that special forces team that we talked about, this person has this skill, this person has that skill, this person has that skill. So a design team would love to have somebody who has the controls and the programming background to understand, and to bring to the team anyhow, that understanding of automation and programming, and be part of that team as they develop and build their designs for being built. Okay, so as they develop their designs, having somebody like you as a resource on their team for a lot of companies is becoming more and more common. It's very hard I'll leave you with this, very hard for a design team to know every single aspect. The designer is not a mechanical engineer. A designer is not a programmer. A designer is not, an electrical engineer. A designer is not, even an operator. So the point being, they have to draw upon these resources to be able to design something that works. All right. So a lot of design teams are putting together these teams that have a larger variety of skill set, so that they can become much more efficient. All right. That's happening more and more these days. Okay, so robotics programmer. Oh, I did it again, didn't I? A robotics programmer is not a PLC programmer, but you will find is a lot of robotics programmers know PLC programming, a lot of PLC programmers know robotics programming. Do I really need to say more? All right. Robotics often are integrated into the automation cycles of machines. It's very common that companies look for robotics programmers who have automation backgrounds. So if you've worked with robots in the past, you have the automation background, I think it's really, I think you already know those opportunities exist out there. If you're new to it, you're doing the automation, I can tell you, take some robotics training, and I assure you, you're going to be an in-demand professional. High demand for that. I think the last call I got was a $90,000 opportunity. It was just within just 1 year's of experience. So I'm telling you, there's great opportunities out there for you. Okay, so supervisor. Yes, supervisors. You could become a production department supervisor because you have that automation and programming experience. Assume you have a production line that has a lot of technology, and having a supervisor, and the next opportunity is actually a manager. It's the same thing, but we'll broaden that one. On hand, that has that PLC knowledge, that automation knowledge, is invaluable for companies. That if you work night shift, for example, which has happened to me, having that technical knowledge and working night shift, they don't need to staff 2 people. They don't need to staff a technical resource and a supervisor. They get 2 for 1. So what I'm sharing with you is, there are a lot of opportunities out there where companies are looking for somebody who has that skill set and can help them solve their problems. And I'm trying to get you to understand and trying to share with you how to understand the type of problems they're having so you can take advantage of it. Right? Now, I did mention manager, right? Department manager. Same thing, but actually it's bigger. A department manager that understands automation and programming is invaluable, especially the more technology is in there or the more types of problems they're having with technology. Having somebody who has that background is invaluable. You could lead teams and projects and manage departments and manage the technology in that department. All right, so very, very common to find managers who are the go-to resource versus having an engineer. A manager might be the one who manages and facilitates the technical side of the equipment. Okay, it's not uncommon. You may not want your maintenance team to get in there and monkey with the code. You might not want your supervisors doing that, but it is very common to have a manager have the authority and the right to go in and make edits or changes to a program. Very common. Okay, contractor, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I recommend this for every new PLC programmer in your first year. Find projects to build your projects portfolio. Get out there and find them and start using them and building them. And don't be afraid to ask to be paid for those services, right? If you're updating prints, you're debugging code, you're converting one program to another so they can update their hardware. There's 100 different things that you could do to generate income, and even more importantly, build that project's portfolio. Okay, don't underestimate those opportunities. They're out there. If you don't think so, you can just talk to your maintenance team where you work now or your managers or your supervisors and ask them some of the problems that they're having. Do they have prints that are out of date? Do they have programs that are buggy or have problems? Or maybe there's been some updates to the equipment, but the contractor's left and now they're left with something that's not working so well. And you might be able to come in there and help them out. We'll do a more deep dive on this type of subject later on. There's a lot of great things you can do there. So, sales engineer. Bet you never thought of that one. Boy, that ball just came out of the outfield, right? Sales engineer, same thing. Every machine building company has a sales team, and almost none of the sales team have the technical knowledge that you will have. Having somebody who has the automation, the programming, the electromechanical background on their sales team is invaluable when you're talking to customers. And a lot of sales teams need and want people who are skilled up in the automation field to go to customer sites and help the sales team sell machines. It's very, very common. As you see, there's a theme going on here as teams become cross-skilled and or teams are being pulled together, different skill sets are being pulled together so they become more efficient at helping the customer solve their problem. Okay, you want to look for those opportunities. Don't put on blinders. Don't be narrow. You're not just a PLC programmer. It is a skill set like anything else, like a carpenter, a welder. It's a skill set. And you can use that skill set and merge them into a lot of different career paths. And that's what I want to have you leave here with today, to understand the large variety of opportunities. And these are just a handful of them. There are many more that I could spend hours talking about. But let's before I digress, let's get moving on here on our list. So tech support. I know what you're saying. I know I'm a programmer. I'm not tech support. What are you talking about? I'm not IT. Well, in fact, every machine building company that has a PLC on it, right, has a tech support team where they answer phone calls, they work with you on prints, they log in remotely and make edits and updates and changes and troubleshoot remotely. That type of support team, every company that builds machines has that level of support. So great opportunity for you if you're willing to pursue it. There are lots of companies. Every company has some sort of tech support. And every company that has a machine that has a PLC has a tech support company. So just think about that. Okay, trainer. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a big one. So trainer, you say, well, I just learned. How would I be? That would be, a bit unethical to just learn it and then all of a sudden I'm the expert who's going to start training. You're right, but you might be a good apprentice or a good assistant in a training company. The one thing they're not going to have to do is train you to be a PLC programmer and automation professional. So if you have some other skill sets, some other experiences, and the automation background, you merge it together. Look for training companies that look for someone that is looking for someone with those technical skill sets. You'll find them that they're out there. They're not, I won't say they're in the tens of thousands, but every company that has any kind of hardware generally has a training department or a technical support department, as I spoke to a moment ago. But if you look online and you look for any company that has online training, they almost all have an offline training support, or you could help them with their online. So just look at that as an opportunity. There are really thousands of them out there, those types of opportunities. Okay, consultant. Sort of along the same lines as trainer, a consultant is somebody who can look at a machine and help them optimize that process. You can help them understand how to make it faster, more smoother. I'll give you an example. With experience, you could look at a machine that has 2 or 3 operators, and you could say, I could optimize this process, and I can take 2 people off. If you're looking at labor, you're talking about $50,000 to $70,000 per employee. You've just saved the company $100,000 and some odd thousand per year. And if you can help them do that, and you can put a plan together, that's what a consultant could do. And much like a contractor, you're going to go out there and look for those opportunities. And what I'd say with that PLC programming background is, if you've worked, let's assume you worked on at the end of the line stacking boxes, and maybe it's in a cardboard company, for example, and you know that you can come up with better processes, and you understand the automation and technology career field, and you know how to take that technology and those processes, because you got maybe 10 years of that type of experience, you could merge it together. I'm sure that you could be of extreme value to a company, right? And just put together a plan, write it up, and reach out to them and say, I can optimize your process. I can make this better. We could tweak a little of the technology, add a little technology in there, and we can make it better. Now, in addition to that, if that's a little much for you, I'm trying to go broad here, you could work with a consulting company and be their PLC automation go-to resource, right? Or even one of them. So I just want you to consider those opportunities. There are consulting companies hiring programmers and automation professionals. Just keep that in mind when you're looking for an opportunity. All right. And finally, entrepreneur. That's right, entrepreneur. Much like a contractor or a consultant, entrepreneur would sort of be the type of person where you might say, hey, with my design, my programming, and my integration experience, I'm going to go to the garage and I'm going to kind of put something together that I think would be invaluable, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sell it. What I want you to think about is this. Your imagination is your only limitation. Come up with something that you think that would be very, very helpful, that you could create, and go to your garage and tinker away, my friend, because that's what I'm talking about. You have that skill set, that skill set. Now, maybe you don't have that. Maybe, let's assume anyhow, that you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you kind of want to do your own thing. Well, you have the design, you have the programming and wiring, the mechatronics background. You can wire stuff and put gadgets together. You'd be amazed, I think, if you think about it, you'd be amazed at the amount of opportunities and ideas that you could come up with. And explore those ideas, explore those opportunities. Build the portfolio. In case you ever have to go out and get funding, you can demonstrate that you do know what you're talking about. And build something in the garage, tinker it, plan it, program it, design it, and I think you'd find it is a great career path for you, a great opportunity to create a whole new life, a whole new exciting opportunity for you. So these are just a handful of career paths that you might not have thought of that you would be qualified, and there are tens, if not, between this whole list, there are literally hundreds of thousands of companies out there looking for automation PLC programmers in these different paths, and being new has nothing to do with it. As long as you can bring that skill set to the table, a good team player, and demonstrate some leadership skill set, I think that you'd be in very much in high demand. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. If you're looking to build your automation career, build the skill set, build a portfolio, grow your network of professionals, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we put out new videos, all right? It's an exciting career. If you're new to it, welcome. And I hope that this video was valuable to you. It got your mind thinking in a lot of new, different ways, all right? So until next time, this is Paul with Logix Magazine. Enjoy your day, my friends.